Hey everyone, welcome back. We're going deep today on some pretty out there Bitcoin predictions.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about the possibility of Bitcoin hitting $13,000 per coin.
Wow. $13 million for one Bitcoin.
That's right, $13 million.
That's pretty wild.
It is, and it all comes from this Rumble video we found. It's called Trump Pump will send Bitcoin to $13,000 per coin.
Yeah.
Michael Saylor. And it's from the Crypto News Alerts channel.
Just the title alone
I know, right?
makes you want to know more.
For sure. So basically, the video is all about this prediction that a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve combined with something they're calling a Trent pump could send Bitcoin to this astronomical price.
Okay, so $13,000 per Bitcoin. We've heard that before, haven't we, from Michael Saylor?
Yeah, you're right.
He's a huge Bitcoin bull.
Big believer.
Yeah.
And the video also name drops some other heavy hitters like Bitcoin OG Adam Back and Rich Dad Robert Kiyosaki. They seem to be all in on this prediction as well. But here's the thing. The video kind of just throws out this term Trump pump.
Right.
Without really explaining what it means or how it would work.
Yeah, what are they getting at there?
I know. So what are they saying about Trump and his potential impact on Bitcoin? Like, is it about policy changes? You know, maybe he would come out with policies that are good for crypto, or is it more about a general feeling of, optimism in the market that people link to Trump?
That's a good question.
And then there's the whole idea of a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve. What would that even look like? Would the government start stockpiling Bitcoin like they do with gold?
And how would that affect the whole cryptocurrency market?
It's wild, right? They just kind of put these predictions out there and boom, we're talking about it.
Exactly. It's definitely got people's attention, but the thing is, they don't give us any real reasoning or evidence for their claims.
Yeah, it's all just speculation at this point, and it's important for everyone listening to keep that in mind.
Yeah, these are just predictions, not guarantees.
Nobody can say for sure what will happen to Bitcoin's price.
It's impossible to predict the cryptocurrency market. It's so volatile and unpredictable.
Yeah, it's like trying to, predict the weather way out in the future.
Yeah.
You can see the patterns, but there are always things you don't expect.
Right, exactly. So we can't know for sure what will happen, but we can still kind of explore these ideas, right?
Sure.
Let's see if they make sense. So, okay, let's dig into this Trump pump idea a little more.
Okay.
What are some scenarios that could play out if, let's just say, hypothetically, Trump becomes president again?
Well, one thing is he could maybe put policies in place that people see as being good for Bitcoin.
Okay. Yeah.
There's been talk, speculation about whether a Trump administration would be more open to cryptocurrencies than we've seen before.
Right. That makes sense. So if he were to make it easier to use Bitcoin or maybe even use it officially somehow, that could be a good sign for the market, right?
Well, exactly. It could boost demand.
Increase demand. Yeah. Think about it. If the U.S. government said, hey, we see Bitcoin as a real and valuable asset, that could encourage more people to invest.
Institutions too, right?
Absolutely. And we can't forget about Trump's influence on certain investors.
Yeah.
Some people see him as a sign of economic stability.
Right.
Or like a return to traditional values. And that could lead them to put more money into things like Bitcoin.
It's really interesting how psychology plays into all of this.
Yeah. Investor sentiment, it plays a huge role.
Right. And speaking of psychology, we can't underestimate Trump's ability to get media attention.
Oh, yeah.
Even if he doesn't directly do anything with Bitcoin, just him talking about it could get people excited, and that could drive up demand.
Absolutely.
Remember what happened with Dogecoin and Elon Musk?
Oh, yeah.
One tweet from him could send the price through the roof.
Exactly. Influential people like that, they can really move the market.
Yeah, and if Trump starts talking about Bitcoin all the time, it's going to be everywhere.
Everyone will be talking about it.
Exactly. So, okay, we've talked about the Trump pump. What about this other idea?
The U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, let's think about it when we talk about strategic reserves. It's usually about things that are important for national security or economic stability, things like oil or gold.
Yeah.
So if the U.S. government were to create a Bitcoin reserve, it would kind of mean they see Bitcoin as becoming really important in the global financial system.
It would be a pretty big statement.
It would basically be the government giving Bitcoin their stamp of approval.
Yeah.
And if the U.S. starts holding Bitcoin reserves, other countries might start doing the same.
Wow. Imagine that central banks all over the world holding Bitcoin.
Yeah, that could really change the whole cryptocurrency market.
It is pretty mind-blowing.
Sure.
But Are there any downsides to this idea? Any risks or unintended consequences we should think about?
Yeah, good question. I mean, any big policy change like that could have downsides. One concern is that, government involvement could lead to more centralization of power in the Bitcoin market.
Okay.
If governments have a lot of Bitcoin, they could have more control. And that goes against the whole idea of Bitcoin being decentralized.
Right. Bitcoin was supposed to be free from government control.
Exactly. So a strategic reserve could kind of contradict that. It would raise some tough questions like, how would the government manage this reserve? Would they buy and sell Bitcoin? How would they decide when to do that?
It sounds like a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve would have huge implications.
Yeah.
It would be fascinating to see what would happen if it actually became a reality.
Makes you think, doesn't it, where this is all going?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, cryptocurrency, it's constantly changing, right? It used to be like this fringe thing is now being talked about seriously in government and stuff.
It's amazing how far Bitcoin has come.
Yeah.
But we can't forget about the big thing coming up, the 2024 election.
Oh, right. Yeah.
How could that affect these Bitcoin predictions, do you think?
Well, the political climate, has a huge impact on financial policies.
Yeah.
A change in administration could totally shift things around. And cryptocurrencies, they might not be a top priority for every candidate.
So even if Trump wins, he might not even focus on a U.S. strategic Bitcoin reserve or those policies that would create this Trump pump.
Exactly. And if someone else wins, their stance on Bitcoin and crypto could be totally different.
Right. They could be all for it or against it or somewhere in between.
Whoa, who knows? It's hard to say.
Seems like there's a lot we don't know.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty.
There's so many factors at play.
It's a complex web, technology, global economics, politics, even just how people feel.
Yeah, that's a lot to think about.
It is.
Okay, so as we're wrapping up this deep dive, I think the main takeaway is that this $13,000 Bitcoin prediction.
Yeah.
It's a bold one.
It is.
And it's mostly based on speculation about this Trump pump and this strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Right. And it's important to remember those are just predictions.
Yeah.
A lot of things would have to happen for them to actually come true.
So for everyone listening, think about this. What would actually need to happen for these predictions to even be possible?
What would a Trump pump even look like?
Yeah.
And what would it take for the U.S. to actually create a strategic Bitcoin reserve?
Those are great questions to consider, and I encourage everyone to keep learning about this stuff.
Yeah.
Do your own research, come to your conclusions. The world of cryptocurrency is full of possibilities.
It's exciting. It's always changing.
So true. Well, thanks for joining me for this deep dive.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
I always love getting into these topics and thinking about what they can mean.
Yeah, it's fun to explore.
Until next time, keep those minds curious.
Absolutely.